And so what the operations and the tech and the tooling and all the talented professionals who specialize in this can do is they can actually help you accomplish the non-investment parts of the job so that you as the GP can be spending a majority of your time and attention on generating returns and then maintaining the relationships that really fuel your sourcing and your returns. And so to specifically answer your question, I think that's where I believe that the follow-on discipline is the first thing that you start to see cracks in the system. And I think that bears the brunt of it because it's where your behavioral bias has the potential to be the strongest. And I'm not necessarily talking about the obvious decisions, right? The very clear rocket ship, like back up the truck, the very clear, hey, this is a definitive no, and we need to kind of close this chapter. But I think a lot of this, the challenge really lives in the middle ground where you've sunk in time, you've sunk in obviously capital, so much more into a company. And so you decide to use more follow-on capital. And there's obviously stories where this has been an amazing bet and that has all worked out. But I actually think more often than not, I don't know that that holds. In the traditional like CFA, CFP world, there's this concept of the endowment bias. And no, not like, endowments of universities, but it's this cognitive bias where people assign a higher value to an object or an asset just simply because they own it and hold it. And so you see that in re-ups for LPs, you see that in follow-on decision making, and the way that this operational, excellence, as we call it, kind of comes into play is that you need to have these systems in place that are feeding you the data that you need, that are getting you information as fast as possible, because otherwise you're relying on stale information and you're going based on your gut and you're going based on this endowment bias, whether you know it or not, that I think is actually fueling where you're putting capital at play. And so I think that's where it breaks your returns, which again, as I said and led with, is kind of the only thing that matters. But I think it's the follow-on decisioning around where and where not to deploy capital. And that's where then it bleeds into your communication, it bleeds into data.